And here comes Baby Granger Norton. He wants to take away all taxes. And what they don't understand, there's a balance between economic stimulus, taxation, blueprint for an economy growing, all of that come together. Integrated is how you develop a plan to run a nation. And it's great to have, our president, Dr. Irfan Ali. He's well-versed in finance. He's an urban planner. He understands government. He understands economics. And he has put together a very powerful plan for our nation. And over the next few weeks in this program, I will really describe to you how the contrast between a government plan, a plan that brings our economy to be booming, as I said earlier, and how do we implement those plans, and it's already happening in front of our eyes. So when you listen to Aubrey Norton, for example, and you hear him with his convoluted plans, wild plans of let's cut all taxes, let's give away Guyana money. How then does the economy work? So is he trying to be a Baby Granger? I don't know. I kind of smiled this week listening to our Vice President, Dr. Jagdeo, talked about some of the things that he felt that were really convoluted plans by Aubrey Norton. But, he, for example, here's a contrast. If you want to, us to put a baseline between Old Man Granger and Baby Norton Granger, is Granger never liked to shake hands. He had, for example, cardboard outputs of him at rallies because he never liked to shake hands. Baby Granger Norton now comes and he doesn't want to shake hands either. So there's some very, very similarities between these two individuals, even though they probably never liked each other. We can't listen to those comments and plans that they coming up with anymore. They seem to be throwing out whatever comes out of their mouth, confusing the population. I want us to concentrate really on the development of Guyana, where we're going, what your involvement is, and how do we compare and contrast the two different political organizations, and what is the best way for us to make the decisions on what is better. I took a taxi a few weeks ago, and the individual driving the taxi were using some of the same terms that, Baby Granger Norton talks about, discrimination. And he said, and I asked him a question, he said, well, they're not getting the oil money. He's a taxi driver, he's not seeing any oil money. And I asked him, prior to 2020, what was his business like? He said, boy, I used to one drop here, I struggled to get rides because the economy was doing so bad. And then I said, well, what's going on today? He said, oh boy, if you see it, I can't even keep up. I don't get sleep. I'm probably going to have to buy another car. And I looked at him very quietly and I said, you're benefiting from the new economy. You're benefiting from Dr. Ali's plans of ensuring every individual get a chance to benefit from our wealth and from our prosperity. Dr. Ali said the measurement of his success in the 5 years that he will serve, the first term, would be moving the prosperity index for each one of us. I had another quick story to tell you. I have a vet who for decades used to take care of my dogs. And my dog needed a surgery. So I called him out. He said, well, I'm not a vet anymore, but I'll come out and do the surgery for you. And again, he started to hit on me, how the PP government is discriminating against Afro-Guyanese, repeating some of Baby Norton Granger's same plans. And I said, well, why aren't you not a vet anymore? He said, boy, I've got 5 distribution centers across the country serving areas from the oil and gas to agriculture. And I go, wow. And we're discriminating. So we always have to ensure that we put things into perspective. When you listen to madness on the television from Norton, the madness of what happened from 2015 to 2020, and you look at our economy today, I mean, our economy has doubled. We have gone from 4,500 per capita US to 9,000. Our GDP has doubled. Our financial reserves in the Bank of Guyana is stable, over 600 million. You remember Granger, them had carried it down almost to nothing. They took it all out. Imagine what they did, to sugar workers. And every time I bring that up, I get teary, because when you go to Berbice and you go to Albion and you go to IFLOC and many of the areas where they shut those sugar industries down, eliminating 7,000 jobs, 30,000 total family affected. What the government had to do to revive that industry, turnaround CEO Cesar has been able to bring it back to some semblance. Imagine when he got there, he couldn't find equipment. They took the factories apart. They did not care that when you shut an industry such as that down, what are you doing? You're not just taking away livelihoods of people and family and kids. You're taking away foreign exchange. You're taking away health care. You're taking away drainage. All were part of Gaisuco operations in providing sugar to the world. The turnaround strategy, as we bring that together, as we rehire those sugar workers, is to look at new ways of producing sugar, diversification, mechanized approach, looking at more of the value added. I was listening to Cesar Ryan, the CEO of Gaisuco, speak, looking at much more packaged, refined sugar. More money is in the small packet versus selling sugar in bulk. So there are many, many new strategies that are happening within the sugar industry that is boosting the economy back. And as you listen to His Excellency, you hardly ever hear him speak about oil and gas, because really the oil and gas is an enabling factor. Why Guyana will never see the Dutch disease or even come close to the Dutch disease. When people mention that, I kind of got a little upset, because we are known for agriculture, we're known for mining, we're known for tourism, we're known for so many sectors that we have survived on for decades. Enabling those sectors now, modernizing our known industries, modernizing the way we do business, looking at new markets, all of that are where the economy will continue to grow at the rapid pace, the rapid transformation. And what the government is doing compared to what APNU did for 5 years. Imagine APNU for 5 years had no plans. The Vice President said the other night, he said it took them 5 years to write a green strategy plan, and nothing came out of it. In return of office, Dr. Jagdeo pulled out the LCDS plan that he had for decades, that was implemented, that was making money. He revised it for 2030. We are putting our carbon on the market. Guyana is making money now from our carbon credits. That is what you call brilliance. That is what you call thinking. Not sitting there writing plans. I saw Patterson from the AFC said that they invested so much in GPL. Well, they took out a lot of loans with GPL. They never implemented anything. And when the PP came in, they now had to go ahead, find money to pay these loans back, fix the generators that were bought, and looking at all the alternatives. And we're moving rapidly. The President's plan of bringing the gas to shore is on track. We will see a reduction in energy costs. And I want you, as I speak and I talk about our plans for today and our plans for tomorrow, you always have to ask yourself a personal question. Where do I fit? How do I participate in Guyana's development? How do I make sure that I don't be left behind? And if you continue to listen to the boy I call Baby Granger Norton, and listen to his wildness in speaking, wildness in telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, guess who will suffer? You. Because the president is very, very clear, as firm as he can be. One Guyana. All of us, regardless of our race, regardless of our color, regardless of our religion, regardless of our political affiliation, Guyana's wealth is for all Guyanese, whether you're living in Guyana or out of Guyana. So do not let the APNU PNC opposition tell you anything outside of that, because you will be the one to lose. Guyana is moving at a rapid pace. The transformation is real. The investment government is doing in infrastructure. You know, when we committed during the campaign of 2,000 miles of new roads, you see all the announcements over the last 2 years. Roads from every community, farm roads, highways being developed, new access being developed. You've got to now know the infrastructure is going to be developed around you. That makes it easier for your business, for your operations, for many of components of living to center around the infrastructure development. When the president talks about the gas to shore and the reduction in energy costs, if you're operating your business today and you're making profit, imagine the efficiency that will take place when you get that reduction in energy costs. We are looking across the interior, 30 megawatts of power with solar panels. The hydro Amalia Falls still to be awarded that will look at renewable energy. So an integrated energy plan, and you know, if the world had to do it again with fossil fuel, oil finds, gas finds, and look at where Guyana stands today in carbon neutral, the fact that our forest is the size of England, we are not cutting down the trees as we could even do it legally in the world. So imagine with us being carbon neutral, imagine with us having the oil, imagine with us refining our own oil, imagine with us cheaper energy with the gas to shore, self-sustaining in agriculture, and I'll get to that later on. Guyana is destined for greatness under good leadership, good governance, and never again will Guyana ever struggle with democracy. Our government, our party believes in democracy, accountability, and transparency. The measurement of our success in government under our president is to ensure that every Guyanese are treated the same. You know, I just came back from Region 10, and you know, we just passed the hemp bill in Parliament, where Region 10 and other regions will be a significant benefit to the whole hemp industry, which is a significant industry that is being quantified in terms of where the economic value for Guyana will be. And I met many farmers in Kokwani and Ituni and up the Berbice River that is all being prepared to get into this industry. And so in these regions, I mean, apart from new industries that are going to happen, they are, you know, we have invested in housing, hundreds of houses in Linden and in Region 10. We're investing, I saw the RFP out to upgrade and redo the entire Suez-Lake to Linden Highway. That was just recently funded. The Maburu Road from Linden to Maburu, 121 kilometers, is in progress. Yesterday I went to Letem Tangde, I came back from Region 9, and the residents are so excited because what it does now is connect parts of Guyana in a much more efficient way. And what do you have to be ready for? What I was able to tell the residents of Region 9 and Letem, the whole northern Brazil connection is not something that you should just brush aside. Northern Brazil is landlocked. There are large agriculture developer within northern Brazil. They need to get their goods to market. We need to get our goods to market. The president and CARICOM leaders have initiated 25% reduction in CARICOM import bill by 2025. What does that mean for us? When you're talking upward of 10 billion US dollars that is imported food, and I can give you some examples in Guyana. You go to the supermarket, what do you buy? Boxed milk from New Zealand, from Australia. In the Caribbean, they do the same. So upwards of 10 billion US dollars worth of goods being imported. When the cruise line come to St. Martin, if you ever been on a cruise, they're, like almost a football field of a salad and fruit bar during the day. I saw personally two 747 from Thailand landing in St. Martin with mangoes, with other fruits and vegetables to go on that salad bar. Wait a minute. Guyana is poised to significantly make a dent in that 25% by 2025. So if I had to advise, as you look around Guyana, what do we know? Good, we know agriculture. The more you grow in quality, efficiently, the better you will do, because there is a solid industry of that market. And guess who becomes your vice president of marketing and sales? His Excellency. He said that. He will ensure that the more quality food we grow. That's why he's partnered with the Prime Minister in Barbados to set up the food terminal, because the food has to be distributed throughout the Caribbean. We only have 800,000 plus people in Guyana, but the Caribbean has 32 million visitors a year that comes to CARICOM. You tell me, if you've got a piece of land, you join a consortium, whether you're in Kokwani, whether you're in Lethem, whether you're in Enterprise, wherever, and you grow one thing big. Let us find the markets for you. Let's look and see how we will get that to the food terminal in Barbados. So I want you, in retrospect, as you listen to what is happening today, go back to my points I want you to keep in mind. Where do you fit is a question you must ask. Who do I listen to? Do I listen to the baby Norton Granger that doesn't have a plan? We saw again what happened 2015 to 2020, the economic stagnation. I can't describe what economic stagnation. You felt it. You saw the economy, Regent Street dead, New Amsterdam dead, Linden dead. Look at those places today. In 2 years, and you know why that is? Because we came in with a plan. We came in with a data plan. A plan that describes when you invest in infrastructure, when you invest in people, when you invest in rehiring workers that were fired by the Granger administration, when you invest in a One Guyana platform that guarantees all of us benefiting from Guyana's wealth, then you can see the difference between 2015, 2020, 2020 to 2025. So as we go into local government elections, and as you get back into the political mindset of who do I vote for? And if you just look at Georgetown, for example, and you look around the city, seeing that the Georgetown City Council, the mayor, PNC, run council is doing nothing. Nothing. Not cleaning. No improvements. Smell in the drains. Central government continues to have to step in. So when you go to local government polls and you said, you know what, I've always been a PNC, that's all I know who to vote for, and you go to put that X for the Georgetown Council, for voting for the city council. Imagine you're voting for incompetence. I don't have to tell you that. You know it. You see it every day. What has the city done for our country? So when you put on that political hat again, think of it. Look at what central government has been able to accomplish for the entire nation of Guyana in just over 2 years. Imagine what we can do in the city of Georgetown, in the city of Linden, in the city of Kokwani, not city of Kokwani, in Kokwani, in the city of Bartica. What could we do and how quickly we can move? So I want you to keep that in mind as you think of March 13 local government elections. Do I vote the same way because that's what I know? Or do I vote for improvements that will benefit me? Ultimately, what all of us want in our family, we want wealth. We want the ability to ensure that our families are well taken care of. I want my children to be well educated. I want to be able to enjoy the niceties Guyana has to offer. And I want a comfortable life. It may not be more than that. And our plan, and I started back to the difference between 2015, 2020, and 2020 to 2022. We came into office with a plan to ensure that every Guyanese benefit. When Dr. Ali sits at cabinet, and when Dr. Ali speaks to us in the nation, when he travels the world and speaks to world leaders, and he looked at integration in CARICOM, his focus is on Guyana. He is ensuring that Guyana benefits in everything he does. I sit in the investment office. Investment in 2015 to 2020 were about 500 million US, I think it is. Between 2020 to 2022, we're up to $1.9 billion worth of investment. It's a different change. What investors look for is a stable economy. They look for good leadership. They look for macroeconomic initiatives. We saw Dr. Ashley Singh in his 2022 budget describe the platform of leadership in the financial community. We see our Vice President looking across the energy sector, ensuring that Guyana Integrated Plan for Sustainable Energy will benefit every one of us. The President's vision of bringing it all together for the benefit of us. That, in retrospect, is what you've got to keep in mind as you get to the polls in March 2013 and in 2025. You've got to consider where you were. What was your income like in 2015 to 2020? Are you a store owner, business owner? Are you an employee, a public servant? Are we moving up the ladder? Absolutely. And we will continue to do that as the President's plans are implemented and put together. So there are significant opportunities that we have to look at. I saw something recently on YouTube where an individual said that we traded oil blocks to get a visa to go to England or the UK. What madness. What madness. It shows the deficiency sometimes of the intellect of folks that don't understand global politics. Guyana has taken center stage, and we should all be proud. Coming from colonial days to a republic, we are finally taking a stand that Guyana is a sovereign nation, is a nation independent. We've got good governance, believe in democracy, accountability, We are leading the region in food security, in carbon credits. We are leading in global policy. The world is waking up. The British visa opens up doors, not just for Guyanese to travel. It is much more than that, ladies and gentlemen. It is bringing trade between the two countries stronger. A lot of businesses in Guyana, because of the restrictions, didn't go to Europe to buy their goods. They may have gone to China, they may have gone many other areas. They now will be able to go to Europe, UK, to look at trading options. But most importantly, where do you fit? If you're developing products for export, how do we get our products now quicker, more efficient to the United Kingdom? So they're not looking at it that they're giving Guyanese free visa to travel. This is an economic decision that benefits both nations. And there's no way for us to even listen to somebody saying that we would trade an oil block for a visa. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. You know, I think if you put baby Norton Granger, old man Granger, and all of them in one room, I don't know what you would come up with. You know, they would have to create their own nation of stupidity to be able to manage. We have to ensure that as these plans come together, you are taking advantage. And I want you to compare the difference. And I can tell you, especially APNU PNC supporters out there, if you can disagree with me that your life has not gotten better in the last 2 years, I would like to have you on the program and you tell me why you did not take advantage of what is being offered on the table today. You know, I was with Minister Hamilton, Minister of Labour in Region 9. I visited in Region 10. The training the Board of Industrial Training is conducting throughout Guyana, bringing people up to speed in terms of skill sets. We are looking at the Hospitality Institute to ensure we are prepared for the tourism industry. And let me kind of stabilize a little bit on this tourism industry. The British visa, if you think of it, thousands of Britons and Scottish and from Wales and Ireland travel to Barbados, St. Lucia, CARICOM every year. 14 days vacation. Our President, Dr. Ali, with Prime Minister Motley in Barbados, talked about twinning of a product. A few days in the sand, the blue waters, and a few days in the jungle. I can tell you, I've traveled the world, over 70 plus countries, and every time I see a tourist, you know what they like? They like that stamp in their passport. Imagine, instead of just saying I went to the beaches in Barbados, I can say I went to the Amazon. I went to South America. I saw the beauty of nature, virgin territory, the single most water drop falls in the world, beautiful black water. So that visa that somebody said was for oil blocks, it's for you and me. If you are in an area, in all parts of the region, whether it's outside of Region 4 on the Essequibo River, and you start thinking of maybe 8 eco rooms, eco lodges that you can set up, go invest, we'll give concessions for that. And you start to get ready for this influx of people that would start visiting Guyana because there's air service to Guyana now. So the flight from Great Britain or from London goes to St. Lucia, and then St. Lucia to Guyana. 2 times a week, I think, is the startup. Imagine then you go to St. Lucia for 4 days, and you're going to go back now the next Tuesday. So instead of going back from St. Lucia directly to London, you take Thursday flight, come to Guyana, and then Tuesday you go straight back to London. 4 days or so plus in the jungles of South America. We got to be ready for that. And when you look at, we've got 6, 7 branded hotels being built right now in Guyana simultaneously. Thousands of new rooms will be added. And that was actually based on 2019, 2020 data in support of the oil and gas industry. That number wasn't based on what is about to happen with the explosion of Guyana in other sectors. When you hear a president, and you saw his visit with Prime Minister Motley, the governor of Roraima, he has met the president of Brazil, and they talk about the interrelationship between Guyana and northern Brazil. When that road is completed, and it started, so it's real, it's not a dream anymore, our future has arrived, what you're seeing we doing every day is making the arrangements to ensure that that entire future is in our hands. That's a whole new transport and logistics sector that is going to be now in Guyana. Thousands of containers, 40-foot, 20-foot, 18-wheelers, crossing the border, going to a deepwater harbor that soon will you will be hearing about. You've heard about the refinery that we're put out for private sector to form. So that's another influx of economics that will continue to change Guyana trajectory. I can talk it all tonight, but I can't. I wouldn't. I want us to focus on why the current government, PPP-led administration under Dr. Ali, what we are doing, what are we ensuring? So when you hear the pundits overseas talk about, and they use terms like discrimination, and I want you, if you understand what that word means, and you see it and feel it for yourself, I think our president would want to hear you. But I do not like the words being used to incite some form of injustice in Guyana. When you listen to them outside, hiding in New York basement, a lot of them really don't have a lot of money. They wish they could be like us in Guyana now. They wish. So because they can't, whatever, have the finance to move back or whatever, they decide they're going to go at the government. But every day, we don't have to prove to the world what is happening. I speak with the diplomatic community often. They are seeing it for themselves. When you look at High Commissioner Jane Miller, her excitement about the relationship with Great Britain, developing those eliminating those trade barriers at a quicker pace. Her excitement tells us that she knows ultimately her citizens in the UK and our citizens in Guyana will benefit. No discrimination whatsoever. So baby Granger Norton, I want you to listen to me very carefully. One, there's no way a country can eliminate all taxes. It will go into a depressed economy. Just like Granger raised all taxes and stagnated our economy. That's an extremely similarity with you and Granger. Totally incompetent plans that makes no sense. And I hope you're not convincing any of your supporters that it makes sense. So don't act like you understand economics and it sounds like a soundbite and that will make people wake up and vote for you. They will not vote for dunces and incompetence. They will vote for reality. It's a balanced approach to economics and nation development. We've got to look at stimulus in the economy. You have to ensure people are trained, educated, they have a chance to develop themselves. You look at the infrastructure of a nation, ensure that the government responsibility is being executed fairly. 6 new internationally type hospitals being built in Guyana across our nation. A maternity and pediatric specialty hospital. Government is investing in ensuring that we get the best health care possible. We deserve it. President is working with Mount Sinai, a leading healthcare industry in the United States, to ensure that our healthcare system delivers for our people. Our security reform is taking place. Smart police stations being developed and looked at. CCTV cameras across the city and ultimately will be across the country. Looking at our border connections, how do we stimulate our border activities? The bridge to Suriname, what will that mean to us as Guyanese? Saw that President of Suriname just announced the legalization of the border with the boats area. With that bridge going across to Suriname, we know the bridge across to Brazil is already done. The connection now is real. We need to stop and sit back. If you're in your living room, you're on your phone, next to your computer, and ask yourself, wow, why am I listening to dunces? Why have I ever voted for the PNC applicant? Why am I not getting involved in Guyana's development so that I, myself and my family, can benefit from every component of Guyana's development? You should almost be angry with yourself if you're saying, you know what, I think Norton got some better ideas, I'm gonna bring him back. I'm gonna try to vote for him to bring him as Baby Granger into government next time. It is ridiculous. I want you to ensure, don't be left behind. Ensure that, in retrospect, that you are thinking about your today and about your future. It is about putting those plans together. So as you look at overall and I talked a lot about the government infrastructure support, the development of roads, schools, water, housing, healthcare, right? Government is spending their portion in ensuring that we are doing what it takes to enable you, a citizen, enable the private sector to be able to perform and to see their returns in an efficient manner. If I step back just quickly to agriculture, and I mentioned about the 25 by 2025, when you look at the agriculture sector and you look at what the president did recently with bringing competitors in the poultry industry together that were suffering in terms of world prices for stock feed. He brought them together, competitors, allowed them access to large land. They invested in growing soybean and corn. They're now going to buy from themselves at market price. They now, to be competitive, they've got to improve efficiency. But what was very unique about that, we would have never been able to produce our own stock feed to the magnitude that they will over the next 3 years if was one individual. Consortium, joint ventures, partnership. I really want us to start thinking that way. When you look at areas like in Kokwani, where I was with Minister Todd on his outreach to ensure that government programs are being implemented in an efficient manner in Region 10, and he's doing a great job in doing that. We spoke to many, many individual farmers along the Berbice River in other areas that may be growing cash crops. Some may be growing okra, some growing sorrel, some growing, pak choy, blanche. And if an area soil is tested and is good, say, for tomatoes, why not 10 farmers come together and says, you know what, we'll plant tomatoes. So when the market started looking for tomatoes, now when a canter truck drives into Kokwani, they can fill the entire truck with tomatoes. So now that buyer has economy of scale. They wouldn't go in for 2 beds or 3 beds. You would have to go to the market the next day and sell that. So as we look at making a dent in that 25%, whether you're enterprise, whether you're in Monrepo, wherever, I really advise you to kind of look around your area. Go speak with your neighbors. See how you can figure out what is the best crop to grow, what is the best purchasing price, what is the best market for it. When you think of 7, 8 new hotels coming up in the next 2 years, we've already got the Pegasus Suites that were opened recently. We've got the Best Western Arden that is on their 9 floors already done, moving rapidly. And these hotels start filling up. Imagine the food that these hotels, which we do not have today, will need in the near future. Are you preparing for that? When the president talks about the food terminal and ships going back and forth from Guyana to Barbados to take our goods, are you preparing for that? Or are you sitting back listening to Norton, baby Granger Norton, who have his stupidity and dumbness, saying, don't take anything, don't do anything, wait for us to get back in power and we will help you, we'll take away all your taxes. How stupid can that be again? Make sure you don't fall for that trap. Because ultimately, what I'm telling you is the things that are happening today. You can drive around. If you go right past the roundabout, there's a 4-point Sheraton being built. Piles are going down. There's a 200-300 bed private hospital going up right next to it. There's another hotel that is going to go not too far away. Are you getting ready in support of that industry? Multiple ways. Imagine laundry systems, food services, logistics, workers, all will be needed rapidly. Question is, are you preparing yourself for these initiatives that are taking place right in front of our eyes? If you're stuck in 2015 and 2020, I'm sorry, I can't probably help you there. And I want you to really, that's why the program is called Retrospect. Every time you hear our president speak, and he outlines the new plan, he outlines what he's doing, I want you to go back 2015 to 2020, and if you heard it, and if you heard it, was it done? If you heard it under our president, and in 2 years he's already delivered an economic boom that has doubled our GDP, and we're on a rise by 2030 to be 30,000 plus per capita. What happened during the 2015 to 2020 reign? And you bring it back, and government is all about the people. Elections happens. We believe in democracy. We believe in local government. That's why you see that date is the best day GCOM could have given. When you hear the AFC, for example, said, oh, the list is bad, we're not going to election. In 2018, remember, they were in power. I guess the list was good, 2018. They decided to fight with APNU. They pulled out, went to election on their own, and I think they got 4%. So, 2022, they failed as part of government from 2015 to 2020, failed. They failed in the 2018 local government election, and they're afraid, scared to death, to go to election in 2023, March 13th, because what they're going to get? Probably zero. So what they're talking about now, list is bloated, that people are going to vote. How many times do we hear that? If you have gone to elections, you and I have voted, when you get there, your name is on the list. You've got APNU, AFC, PPP, any other party ensuring that you are the person. How the heck that people voted? So where do these people, when they were in power, went to election on their own in 2018, they did not win, AFC. Suddenly so to come 2022, 23, something is bad. Excuses is not a good way of fighting anything. And I think we are, as Guyanese, I tell investors when I sit in my office, that one thing I can tell you about our population in Guyana, we are very analytical, we're very educated. I believe when you graduate secondary school in Guyana with 5 CXCs or more, it's equivalent to almost a 2-year degree in the United States, very high level. You look at our pass rate in Essequibo Coast, for example. We just opened a call center in Essequibo Coast that the operator already said, Peter, I can't believe the educated these young kids are, how knowledgeable they are. So when I say that to repeat, Baby Granger Norton comments, when you listen to him or you listen to the AFC Cathy Hughes and you listen to Patterson, you listen to so many of them, and you wonder, wait a minute, in retrospect, were they not in government 2015 to 2020? Did they do any of these things that they're saying now that should be done? Did they resolve any problems? Did they grow the economy any? Did they fix GPL? Did they have a carbon plan to sell our carbon? Did they even select the site for the gas to shore? Or are they still doing feasibility studies? Or they were awarding contracts illegally? I think one of them were charged for that. So every time if you are an APNU supporter, and I know people are out there, RPNC APNU supporters or AFC supporters, nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is you listening to the convoluted plans that makes no sense. And in retrospect, you have to ask yourself, did they not have an opportunity to do it in 5 years? Did the PNC and the APNU in the city council in Georgetown had decades to fix this place? Have they done it? No. So why would they do it now in a new election? Impossible. So every time you've got to draw, I always tell my students when I used to teach, draw a T table. This is what they said, and this is what they did. If you don't see measurable results, that means it didn't happen. So there's no way from a Granger-led administration that stagnated our economy 2015 to 2020, is no way you would want to put Baby Granger Norton in any office to further depress our economy. we have to be thankful the fact that our president has set the foundation of One Guyana. He's committed, he's dedicated, he's visionary, he believes in immeasurable success, he believes in seeing it action. He is ensuring that across the nation, the benefits get down to the lowest level, to every citizen. He has still a good way to go. He has built the foundation. He is rapidly transforming our nation. He is implementing the programs that will ultimately benefit you and me and our children. You may not like the politics of it. You may have grown up with one-side politics. But in today's new world, it is about development, is about benefit. Guyana is on the map in the world now. I have billionaires that come into my office. I have local investors that have done extremely well. Over 60% of our investment agreements signed in 2021 was from local investors. Our private sector is stepping up to the table. Are you, the citizens, stepping up? Don't be left behind. Don't listen to the incompetence around you. Ensure that you take these opportunities. And in future programs, I will get into much more detail in areas of technology, what the government is doing, and what are the business opportunities that is out there that you can tap into. When you look at the ecotourism, I started a little tonight. When you hear visa travel, when you hear twinning of products, when you see our president hugging up the Prime Minister of Barbados, it is not just a great relationship. It's about each other's nation development, their commitment to their citizens of their country. And that's why we are excited about the plans. When you look at other areas, in manufacturing, as we move to cheaper energy, that manufacturing sector will explode. Imagine instead of shipping the pineapple out, heavy box of the pineapple or a watermelon, you're now packaging it in biodegradable containers that is easier now to ship, refrigeration. We're looking at investments in dehydration. Our fruits and vegetables have a life cycle, a span, some of them short. You dehydrate that, it can last 3 months. So the manufacturing sector is one of those sectors that will explode come, I call 2023 our pivotal year, 2024 years or explosion years, as these plans come together. And as the president put the entire manifesto that he has eloquently outlined to every one of our citizens. So the manufacturing sector, the tourism sector, the agriculture sector, and other areas are where we fit. It's not about oil and gas. So those that are stuck every day in front page papers about oil blocks and oil and gas and selling oil blocks for Visa and renegotiate contracts, come on, move on from it. Be part of Guyana's development. There are many, many ways for us to benefit from all the industries. And that's why I continue to harp. And I'll leave you with this in my final words in the program. In retrospect, you saw 2015 to 2020. You saw it for yourself. I don't have to tell you. The economy was stagnated. Taxes was increased. Everything. from license to drainage. Pays were increased with no competence. The exchange rate was topping 230, 240. You saw it for yourself. Fast forward to 2022. All those things have been eliminated. All those taxes are gone. The exchange rate now is very stable. Our economy is doubling. We're implementing our program. When I ask you the question again, I started with, do you know where you fit? Have you asked yourself? You see the development in Guyana. You see the numbers that are telling you where we're going and what we're doing. You see the transformation in our economy. Do you know where you fit? Or are you listening to Baby Granger Norton? If you can't shake the hands of our own people, would he be like Granger with only the cardboard box? He couldn't even shake the cardboard box. Don't be left behind. Join the One Guyana, regardless of your politics, regardless of where your vote may have gone in the past. 2023 local government election, let's fix Linden, let's fix Bartica, let's fix Georgetown. Let's put it in hands of people that will prove to you that they can do it, not talk that they can. So compare us 2015 to 2020, compare us 2020 to 2022, and make your decision. I look forward to more conversations with you. God bless you, and have a great rest of the week, and look forward to meeting with you again next week. Thank you very much.
That was a paid program, and the views and opinions expressed are those of the host and other speakers and do not reflect the views and opinions of TVG Channel 28.
Join Peter Ramsaroop for In Retrospect on